the Happy Hour podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast, episode number 37. Famous 37s?
None come to mind.
Holden, what do you got?
Nothing. I'm going to Google for that.
Packer?
I
Al Harris?
I might be 37. I might be 37.
Your, number?
Yeah, my age.
Oh, your age. Okay.
So am I. I'm not famous.
I'm not really sure though.
Yeah. Athletically, it's 37s. That's a good one for all
Sam
you.
Shields was 37.
Sam Shields. That's a good one. There you
Nice.
go. All right, we got a winner in the clubhouse. Yeah, that's good.
Props for that, yeah.
Holden, you know who Sam Shields is?
Yeah.
What,
Kostas.
Oh,
And
he's
Kumpo.
37? Costas? Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. That's our famous 37.
Yeah.
Giannis's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this...
Aaron Rodgers is 37.
Yeah.
Years old.
Yeah.
Same
yeah,
age as you.
Yep.
Golfers don't have numbers, so...
You're a
I'm
golfer?
on this.
Yeah.
I'm a golfer.
Brooksy.
Which one? Bryson or Brooks?
I don't know, whatever. Brooksy. I just know Brooksy.
People
If I
are
went
calling,
if I went to the Ryder Cup, I'd just be yelling Brooksy. all
people
day.
are calling Bryson DeChambeau Brooksy.
They made a rule for that now.
You can't do that anymore? You can't
I
call
don't believe
Bryson
so.
What does
Brooksy?
that mean you can't? What do you mean get kicked
Because
out?
Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka were like in a duel.
Yeah, yeah,
And Brooks' name is Brooksy, so people at like a tournament were yelling Brooksy as Bryson was hitting.
Yeah, yeah. Which is great. I love
Yeah.
it. Why not? It's rivalry.
Nice.
Make golf fun again. Okay, cool. Let's get started. So let's just go around the horn who you guys are. I called Chris, Dylan, Chris when I saw him. So,
And now we're sitting next to each other.
yep, I got this though. I do think you guys look a little bit alike. So go around the horn, just kind of who you are, what you do here, and a little bit of your backstory of, whatever you want to say. We'll just kind of go around the horn. Go ahead.
Okay, my name's Chris. I'm.
Oh, wait. First of all, the most
Oh.
important part. We got to crack our
Oh.
beer. This is a Happy Hour podcast. Adam has been dry for a few years. Congratulations.
Congrats.
All right.
Way to go.
And,
Working on it.
yeah, working on it every day. Sponsored by Central Waters Brewery. So this is actually brewed in Amherst, right next to our Amherst facility. And Jason Blinker, if you've met him, is part owner. But he is, and they do sponsor our podcast, which just means he gives me free beer every once in a while. And I throw it in the fridge and we drink it. This is called Doppelbock. All right, cheers, everybody. Prost.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, jeeps, gotcha. A Doppelbock, that's usually dark, right? Bock.
Sweet and dark.
Sweet and dark. Oh, Ryan, you a beer guy?
Good stuff.
Wow. That's good.
You a Central
bad.
Waters guy?
I've had it before. It's cool to know that he's an owner of it.
Yeah, isn't that kind of,
It's
yeah.
a small world and the connection right there.
Yeah, and it's literally right across the street, if you will, or half a mile from our facility in Amherst, so it's kind of cool. They give tours and nice little brewery. So that was actually where we, our first time ever, a little celebration, like the week that we bought, the day that we bought Amherst, and was announced that we all met the team thereafter for some brewskis.
Nice.
So yeah, they got some good stuff going on there.
Awesome.
All powered by solar, and just like our plant is in Amherst, just like our plant in Wrightstone will be.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be
Great.
100% solar powered. So that'll be pretty
Joel,
cool.
is that coffee
Yeah.
shop in the school, is that like a blue door thing or no?
What coffee shop?
In the high school?
Yeah,
How come there's no like
it's totally
blue door
random. Like,
signs
whoa,
or-
sideways what?
How come there's no like
There will be
signs?
signage.
Okay.
Yep. So we at Kewaskum High School where Holden goes, we sponsored the local coffee shop. Or they have a coffee shop within the school now, like a little espresso machine.
In the
machine
library.
shop in part of the library, so pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were a sponsor for that. So that was awesome to get a little coffee shop in the school. All right, so anyways, cheers, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Chris, what do you do? Who are you from?
I work in Little Chute, like we all do. I grew up in Appleton, which is a little hop and a skip away. Started at Drexel when they merged with Trust Systems. And I was with Trust Systems a year and a half before Drexel merged.
And were you a trust builder before that, or
Yeah.
where were you before that?
I was unemployed because I was laid off from trimming trees along power lines.
Okay, so that was your first time trust building was a year and a half with Trust Systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it's been 4 years already. It's been a hot minute.
Been that long?
Yeah, it's been right.
Wow. Time's
yeah, for
flying.
sure. I know, right? For sure. Yeah, I mean, we've, Amherst has been part of Drexel for almost 2 years already, so
Yeah.
it's got to be 4 years, yeah, for sure.
I'm Dylan, from the Fox Valley area. I started working at Truss Systems in the summer as well. I was going to school in 2016, I think. And then once I graduated in the end of 2019, I decided to just stay on full time, and that was right around the time that, I think it was the winter before that, I kind of worked that winter break, and that was when I kind of first had the Drexel, like a taste of Drexel. And then when I came back full time is when I really got like thrown into it, I guess. And yeah, I just decided to stay full time. Started out as kind of just like a helper around the shop, but now, right now, currently I'm running the floor line, and then I'm also kind of moving upstairs and doing the batching and the MVP stuff, and then also a little bit of IT stuff as well.
Okay, cool. Cool, you like that?
Yeah, that's what I went to school for, so it's good it's nice to use my degree.
Use the experience a little bit. And Chris, you lead the second shift.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Right, which your hours are 2 to 8?
2 to 10.
2 to 10, obviously, yeah, 2 to 10. You wish, right? 2 to 8. 2 to 10. Great.
I'm up. Okay. I'm Ryan Burst. I'm a truss designer in Little Chute. I started with this company in June. It's been awesome. Great company to work for. I've been in this industry for 2.5 years. My background is in architecture. I started designing in the built environment in 2006. It's awesome. I've been on all sides of it now, from your landscape to your flat work to your beautiful designs to now making sure it stands up, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
kind of important.
It's super important, and I was never taught any of this stuff in college. I went to a 4-year university.
Where'd you go?
UW Milwaukee School of Architecture and Urban Planning.
Yeah, we've actually been, I shouldn't say burned, but I've been confused. That's not the right word either, but trick's not the right word either. I've hired a few people with architectural degrees, and I'm like, this dude's got a degree from Minnesota or whatever, a girl, right? Like, they're gonna be fabulous, 4 years architecture, and they really have no structural background. It's the saddest thing. They literally they're like, I'm like, do you know what a hip or a gable roof is? And they're like, not really. Detailed Roman Empire, right? Like, yeah, that I got down, but I'm like, wow, crazy. So it's been interesting. A few of them haven't worked out because they just really couldn't conceptually grasp how it went together. Isn't that something crazy?
Yeah, I feel like that would be like maybe not essential, but I feel like that's something you probably want to know about if you're.
It's like an IT guy, but I never learned Google. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of important. Yeah. It's interesting though. You're not the first person that was said that for sure.
I'm happy that I went to school at MSOE first for 1.5 years for structural engineering, but I realized I like the outside. Then I came back 5-6 years later. I like doing the structure, so I'm that left to right brain kind of guy. Can't decide.
And you reached out to us.
I did.
So what's that story?
That story was, this is great. I knew Drexel was a great company. I worked for a landscape design or a landscape company in Appleton prior to this, and every time I needed to source, let's say, scissor trusses or LVL material or something to span a certain distance for a pergola or pavilion, I'd call up a guy who actually I finally met in person now, Dave Ricotterin, great guy to work with, and always had great turnaround.
Shout out, Dave.
Always great turnaround.
Probably not
time.
A podcast guy, but I know you're listening, Dave.
No, it was good, and I knew my structure stuff, so I knew what I could really span, in my designs. But I knew if I could push it, get some help. And then I worked for a competitor, doing truss designing. They went a different route with the pandemic, and I went with the route that I knew was right in my heart.
Let's get a little deeper than that.
Let's get way deeper than that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's Wisconsin Building Supply.
It's Wisconsin Building Supply. It was a bad fit for me. It was a bad fit from day one, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. It's something different.
And they said you were working at home. From what I heard, you were working at home.
9 weeks.
And you said, hey, I'm a people person. When can I come back? And your answer was?
The answer I was given was when I keep wearing my mask or I go take a vaccine that I'm not willing to take.
Right, so.
But moreover than that, there was more than that. Like, after you get the vaccine, that wasn't enough. You had to carry a card around with you, and at any moment, HR or anybody in charge could ask you to produce that. Well, if we all have done our history, and I hope a lot of us have, and I think most Americans need to go back to those history books, but that's something that happened in Poland. It's something that happened over in Germany. It's happened in these countries that weren't free or still semi-free. History's repeating itself in a bad way, and I'm seeing it every day, and it's scary.
That's the guys with the tattoo on their arms, right?
Yes, it is.
I don't see a big difference in my opinion.
Vaccine.
We just turned this into a Joe Rogan podcast.
It's
okay.
I do my research.
Yeah, like think 3 years ago. Think 3 years ago, if you would have said we're going to be carrying around a vaccine passport and wearing a mask for going up to 2 years.
Correct.
You'd have been like, and honestly, I was scared to death, right? I'm like, if people, and we have, people are sick and dying. I'm not mimicking that, but I don't think the virus can be stopped. But to the point where you're carrying a passport around, I have major issues with.
Me too.
Major issues, because what's next?
Mm-hmm.
South Australia just went with, and again, this is factual. You might know that already, huh?
Yeah.
You already know that? You must be watching that stuff like a hawk.
I do talk radio. That's
Oh,
very
okay.
good mind. And
Yeah, you and I probably shouldn't sometimes, right? So South Australia, true story, there's 6 states in Australia. Australia's been really, really tough on their COVID mandates and bragging about it, basically. They've been locked down for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you have to download an app on your phone. They will randomly contact you. You have 15 minutes to respond. If not, the police are showing up where you're supposed to be, because you're supposed to be, they're on lockdown, so they're not supposed to leave their house. I'm like, whoa. And they're proud of it. They're like, hey, this is new technology. We're the first in the world to do this. This is so cool. I'm like, that is, again, that's like a bad movie, right? Like, I wouldn't even believe that in a movie. Like, if I saw a movie, I'd be like, well, that's never going to happen. That's so stupid. Here we are. So anyways, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for coming aboard. Adam.
I'm a truss stacker at Drexel. I've worked for Drexel for 3 years. Prior to that, I was a concrete laborer for 23 years, and finally decided to make a move, and it was the best move I've ever made. It took me a little bit to get used to the laid backness, if that's a word, because I was used to a lot more hours weekly and a lot harder work. So I felt like I needed to, work hard every day and try and prove myself when it's really not necessary. It's like I say, best move I ever made.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that before on podcasts. I don't think you and Adam and I have ever talked about that. Growing up here, my dad always said we work half days, which means half a day, 6 to 6.
Yeah.
Last podcast we just had on a week ago, we were very used to, just 10 years ago, we worked similar to anybody in construction. We were working 70-hour weeks. By Thursday a.m., we'd have 40 hours in, right? And then we work Saturdays pretty much all day. We started at 3 a.m. and work till X. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Right? So we go to these 40-hour work weeks and we're like, we're losers. Like, I don't like to work laid back. I feel like, let's give her for 40 hours and then let's actually have a life, because working that many hours and that intensity, there was a burnout to it, obviously. I don't think I was the best version of myself, and at home I was just mush. Is that kind of what you're referencing, Adam?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
So truss stacker, I think, is one of the most interesting jobs in the company. I've always said that, and I think it's hard. You're like, it's easy, it's laid back. I'm like, no way. So in my version of a truss stacker, right, the trusses get built in this. It's not heat controlled, but it's a nicer climate. But the trusses are coming out no matter what, right? So you have rain, cold, sleet, hail, mud, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just keep coming, and you're dealing with conditions. It's a tough job. Like, you got to figure out how to stack them so they don't break. And then, are you applying the OSB?
We do the sheathing, and then we also do pre-nailed girders. So I mean, there's a lot to it, but
You're taking away jobs that were traditionally done on site that are now done through the factory.
correct.
Right. So that's a big move. And do you know that in the new factory that's going to be undercover?
I've heard about the.
Heard whispers?
I've heard whispers about no
Yeah.
more work in the rain and
Yeah.
snow and cold, and
Yeah, and I think I've talked about to me, truss stacker is a tough job, and I'm not even sure who does it on second shift. Who's the stackers?
Jared.
Jared, shout out.
Yep.
And I don't know the third shift. Do you know third shift? Who does the stacker? Do you know, Adam?
Mike.
Mike, shout out to Mike. I wake up in the middle of the night, right? You go to the bathroom. I think often, in a weird way, that when I'm going to the bathroom or something creepy, but like, man, that stacker's outside right now. Like, it's January 4th and it's 2 a.m. and I'm like, dang, dude, that guy's stacking. Like, you guys do a good job. Thank you. Appreciate that.
There's more to it than just stacking trusses on piles too. I mean, you actually, if you think about it, you can learn a lot more about, if you start to like look at the trusses and visualize, where's this going to go and where's this going to go, and you can kind of start to see the house built before it even gets on a truck.
Oh,
or
it's
anything.
a science.
It's like, why is there only one gable to this stack of trusses? And there's a lot to it. I've learned a lot.
And I love trusses. So many trusses don't look like a truss. I'm like, that thing's a rectangle. Like, it's got to shed water at some point. I'm like, what are we doing here, right? Like, you sure that's right? Like, yeah, that's what it says. So it's interesting, isn't it, guys?
Very.
And both of you build the trusses, right? So what we're representing right now is two guys that build trusses, right? You're the truss.
Floor trusses mostly.
Floor, you do mostly floor, mostly you're walking around.
Yeah, I've done mostly roofs.
Mostly roofs, right? So we have a designer and then we have a stacker. I don't have any role in the process at all, but it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So a couple of questions I have. Let's go back to Chris. So do you remember, because I think it's always a good story, do you remember when we announced it, the merge from Truss Systems?
I do, yeah.
And how'd that go down? Do you remember, what's your story?
Well, nervous at first,
Yeah, but how did it actually happen? Do you remember the actual day?
Yeah, we were told to show up a little earlier to work, and pulled in. There's all these Drexel vehicles parked outside. I remember seeing Drexel on some of the trusses we were building when it was Truss Systems, and I was like, okay, maybe they're just checking the plant out or something.
Yeah.
And
Tour.
then we came in, and you were there. I think Caitlin was there too, and the three owners.
4 owners.
There were 4.
Yeah, Terry.
Yep.
There's
Gaz.
Terry, Steve, Gaz, and Sean.
Yeah.
I always knew him as Hank.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sean checks in with me maybe once a year still,
Yeah.
so yeah.
That's good. Yeah, and they announced it. It was announced that the merger is going on.
One of the craziest things that I'll always remember about that was they couldn't find good help. And I would still challenge Shine, shout out, still working with us. He always said, you are going to find good help. I said, Drexel finds good help. We will. He's like, no way. So I'm like, we're going to double production here. He's like, you can't do it. Can't find good help. There was a lot of temp help there, if you remember.
Yeah, there was.
A lot, and it was really unfortunate culture, or sad in some ways, because the temp help was coming and going, so they didn't even know if you were temp help or you were full-time, but they kind of had given up, if you remember, from what I was told or seen, they kind of had given up on training. It's like, people are coming and going, we got to just keep going through.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of people. There's a revolving door for every maybe 10 people that went through the door, maybe 2 or 3 would stick around.
So you can imagine, for you guys, new people come into your organization and they just disappear. So how much effort are you going to really work with the guy, right? So it's hard enough now working with a girl or guy that's new, but knowing they're probably not going to stick around was pretty tough. So it was a pretty tough culture.
Yeah, I remember coming back from school for the summer. There's always like the core kind of people that were there when I started, but it's so many new faces every summer. It was hard. It was almost like getting to know everybody all over again, because it's just.
In some ways, it was amazing to get anything done.
Yeah.
Really cool part though was there was some temp help that was there for a long time, and temp help agencies, and it's just what they do. They take almost 50% of the wages that Drexel Truss System was paying. The temp help doesn't get that many wages or benefits. We didn't have a contract with temp help. We were in Truss Systems. It's illegal to hire somebody full time, because the temp help understands that's the thing, right? Adam's really good. Let's hire you full time. I don't need temp help anymore. So you have a contract that you can't hire any of their people full time.
Right.
I don't have that contract. So quickly, Caitlin and I and a few others, I think we hired 6 or 7 people that are still there now, and it was awesome. They didn't have benefits. We were able to raise their pay $5,000-$6,000 an hour, and it was great. That was really cool. That was one of highlights of my career, probably.
Yeah,
honestly.
the big thing they were excited about was the benefits that they were getting.
Of course.
Because they weren't getting anything from the employment agency at all. No
Yeah.
vacation, no paid time off, none of that.
And I would say the person's name if I can remember. I forgot the person's name. I wish I could remember because they're probably still there. They had asked me, I went through the vacations and holiday pay. And again, for us, we kind of understand that. Like, you know, a lot of times I'm recruiting people, they want more. And I remember the person with tears in their eye, they're like, so when I don't work, you're going to pay me? Like, yeah, that's how this works. And they kind of teared up a little bit. They're like, well, that's good. I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's okay. It's going to be okay. So that was a real thing. Yeah, that was something. And we are doing, Chris, you might know better than me. We are doing well over, we're doing how much a month right now? Yeah, we're doing triple the work out of that facility, really with some new machines, but not many,
Yeah,
than what we were doing when we bought them 4 years ago, right? Easily, right?
You know, running around the clock, having a bigger yard. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
So we
fill
did
up.
it, Shine. We did it. Said we couldn't do it. Yeah. I mean, even Shine said, "Hey, I don't know about building all these trusses. Where we're going to put them?" And I told him, "I don't. You might have never heard that. You know, I'm like, we'll put them right in the road if we have to. We'll pay fines. Like, just build them."
Yeah.
And we do have trusses now built sitting in our parking lot once in a while. So pretty crazy. Dylan, it sounds like you got a story.
About what?
I don't know. Just, but I can tell you, like, something's on your mind about building trusses, right? So how is that?
It's interesting. I mean,
Explain to like everybody your day to day. Like, I don't know anything.
So
Right, I sell flooring, and I'm listening and watching the podcast.
probably the first 15, 20 minutes of my day is kind of coming in, just kind of assessing what's going on. You know, it's gotten better, but it's always kind of difficult coming in, you know, shift to shift, kind of figuring out, okay, what do they do? What needs to be done? Like, do they stop in the middle of something? Like, and so kind of just figuring out what's going on.
And we've intentionally tried to foster it somewhat, right? Because it's that teamwork and us versus them.
Yeah.
Definitely 4 years ago, we had a second shift that was, we're a graveyard, no one talks to us, we do our thing, and we go home, and we do it right. They do it different. If you guys remember that, right?
Vaguely.
Yeah, and that was tough. Like, they would just be like, we got our shift, don't worry about us, you know, like, which happens a lot, and it can happen a lot, but the problem is, hey, where were you? Where'd you leave off? How quickly can we transition into the next shift, right? It's a huge deal, because it's a real pain point to start your day every day being like, WTF, right?
Yeah, it's definitely come a long way, but you know, there's always going to be that little bit, you know, just kind of taking a second.
Big deep breath, like, whew.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then kind of just figuring out, you know, what kind of jobs are building a day. The first thing I always look at is I look ahead and see, you know, are these floor trusses going to be like the simple ones, you know, the 25 footers, nothing too long, a lot of common webs, or is it going to be, you know, the cut up ones with the different dips and weird webs and stuff like that. And then
how many guys are on your line?
It depends. It's usually someone splicing the.
You didn't say their names.
So it's usually Jared splicing the cords for the tops and bottoms, and then it's usually me and Nate on we call it the front side. It's basically where we're building the trusses and putting the first side of plates on, and then we flip it over, and then it's usually Curtis and then Josh or Christian on the back side. Sometimes we have two people on the back side. Sometimes we have one. It kind of depends on how big the trusses are, how much of a hurry we are to get it done. And so yeah, usually 5 people.
Yeah. You guys are a great culture. You guys always seem like you're having fun over there.
Yeah, we talk a lot, and you know, it's
Shout out to all those guys.
Yeah, we it makes the day go fast. You know, kind of just talking junk and just
Curtis's
having fun.
first job.
Yep. He talks about that a lot, about how he came in for an interview and he was like waiting to get picked up, and he came outside and you were like, hey, can you start today? And he said, yeah. He said, and that's why he went back inside and he was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, it was like,
Oh, really?
so his cousin,
Wow.
Yep, it was working there. It was
Cottrell.
a temp. Yep.
Yeah, and he was a temp, and we hired him full time. Unfortunately, Cottrell doesn't work with us anymore. But he's like, I got a cousin, and he came right from
East
tough
Chicago.
neighborhood, East Chicago, like
yeah.
tough neighborhood,
Oh, rough.
rough neighborhood, very rough. And Curtis was maybe 18 or 19.
Yeah, he's
He's like, I've never had a job before. He's like, but I want to work. And again, we just got rid of temp help. We're trying to scale up. Seemed like a nice kid, and yeah, he came in and applied. I shook his hand. I kind of did a body check, and it wasn't like live body. Like, you seem like a good dude. Like, let's go. Can you work? And then it was kind of a test, honestly, because I'm like, I knew I had never had a job before. I said, "Can you start right now?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's all smiling. He didn't know. I don't think he really knew how to work.
No, but he's
You know, like you said, like you almost had to scale back. Like, we had to scale him up. Like, let's go. And he's made it.
yeah, he's probably one of my favorite guys to work with.
Oh man, that dude is always smiling.
Yep.
He's got a contagious smile for sure. Yep. Must have been really happy. Must have been really crazy when the Bucks were going through that.
Oh yeah.
Was he just talking about it nonstop?
I don't think he's the biggest Bucks fan.
Yeah, but you can rile him up.
Yeah. Yep. I was. He likes to talk down a lot about Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you could just needle him.
Yeah.
That's all I meant. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I
yeah.
meant. Yeah, that's great. That's good.
Thanks for the inside info.
Stuff to know.
Yeah.
Use against him.
Well, talk to him here and there.
Yeah. No, that's good. He's a good guy. All right. And how's the culture in the truss designer world? What's your guys' day-to-day look like?
Oh, I mean, it's great. I'll say this. I mean, we all have our days where it could go better. Maybe someone could contact you sooner. Maybe something didn't get sent to the shop.
Work's work, right? Like, I mean,
You know.
shit's gonna happen.
It does, but I honestly, I'm 37. I've been working, taxable working since I was 16, but I've been working since I was 8 or 9, doing yards and stuff, whatever. But it's like the one time, like I honestly can say this, I don't hate going to work. Like, and I get it, work is work, and work should always be, like, don't make work your life. But you can't hate what you have to do for, more than half of your life.
Amen to that.
So,
Will you listen to that?
Yes.
No, I mean, it's 2,000 hours a year.
It's a lot of hours.
It's 10,000 hours in 5 years, right? So, like, if you hate it, I've said, quit, please. Like, I'll help you find a new job.
I heard that the first day from Jen, from HPD. That's not right. I said.
Yeah, happy people department.
Okay.
Shout out to Jen.
All right, thank you. But anyway, it's like, yeah, Joel will pay you to quit if you want to quit. I'm like, what? And she's like, no, honestly, if he doesn't want you here, if you don't want to be here, you are free to go. You're not stuck here. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Learning all these new things. But it's like, I like coming in. I like the people that I get to work with. There's a vast knowledge. I don't know it all. How could you ever know all this anyway?
Right.
And
especially the best practices of that, right?
Oh, exactly.
Like, what I didn't understand about truss design, I mean, we've only been working together for 4 years, but I've been doing building materials like my whole life, is the different ways you can build a truss.
Yeah.
And the profitability of it, on the one side, customer side of it, how much we can reduce our price and cost and speed, and yet it's still to code. Right? Like, it's crazy. Or how much work, we can put a ton of work on the framer, but make our price look cheap, or build a really good truss with no work for the framer, but the contractor, the builder, might not buy it.
Correct.
It's like a super, super secret sauce. Like, it's crazy. There's so many variables. I had no clue.
Yeah, you look at something, you're like, there's no way on earth that works. And then also, you put too much in to make it work.
Yeah.
Or you put too little in. No, you might be at the point where,
And also, as a designer is, we've had designers that are no longer on our team. They almost got frozen by that. Because you can study a truss forever and take out 90 cents or make it a little better, but at some point you have to move on and say that's the best way. That's the best way I have right now in my brain to do it, right?
It's kind of like that oil painter. You have to know, and enough's enough.
That's a good way to say it.
Is it gonna hold up the roof, the floor? Is there gonna be deflection? Is it gonna sag? Is your customer gonna be upset, or are they gonna be happy? The bottom line is, it's got to get built. It's got to go out. Don't make it too expensive. Don't make it too cheap. Find that happy sweet spot, and utilize the folks you have. I mean, I would talk to trust builders. No, they're like, hey, no, that's weird. They tell you something looks weird. It's probably weird.
Yeah, like Adam said, he as a stacker who's not even building it, he can build in his head. He's gonna be like, that dude, that's totally jacked up. Like, I've never seen one like that.
Right.
Or I can't even put this together. I mean, I've seen angles, and you guys angles in the plate, and you're like, what in the hell? Holden, are you understanding any of what we're talking about?
No.
I believe you. Holden's going to school to be a lawyer. Tomorrow night he's thinking he's got boards. He's the leader of the football section.
Our speaker away.
Well, yeah, I told you that was going to happen.
That is bull crap.
So Holden is like captain of the student section, like he's like that guy, right? So student section football games in our little town.
A guy came in the bar last night, an older guy, and he said, I love what you guys do with that speaker. I said, well, thank you. Well, they took it away, and you're like, what?
Yeah, we got to work with Mr. Jocelyn on the billboard and get it done.
He just wants to play his 70s and 80s.
No, you got to talk to him. But you didn't talk to him, did you?
Okay.
Did you talk to him?
Nothing against Mr.
Did you talk to him?
No, because Mr. Jocelyn has never been nice to me. I've had him in one class, he's never been nice to me. That's the truth.
So that's on you.
That's not on me.
Yes, it is. You have to walk into him and say, hey, let's work together. You love Kewaskum football. I love Kewaskum football. Let's play some songs that I can geek out the student section. Let's rock this place.
$100, he'll say no.
Then you're still doing it wrong. You're going to be a lawyer. You got to get your sales cap on, kid. Look at them all. We're like, yeah, you want to be a lawyer? Like, you better start selling this.
Okay, I'll talk to him.
You gotta learn to work people.
But
Yeah.
You do.
when he says no, I'll say I told you so.
Yeah, but that's if he says no, that's because you set it up wrong. So what's your angle going to be? You're a lawyer. What's your angle going to be? Let's help each other, Mr. Johnson. Do you want the crowd to be fired up? I assume you do.
Yeah.
I can help you. I know the songs that are popular. I know you like your songs, but let's work together. He doesn't really care. He'll help you.
Okay.
Smile on your face. This is going to be easy. Just play these couple songs for me. Dude, right? Everyone wants to be adored. No one wants to be hated. Everyone's going to love you, Mr. Jocelyn. Please play these 4 songs. Okay, you don't have to play 4, play 2. And then say, guys, when these 2 hit, we all point at Mr. Jocelyn and be like, because he's right in this press box, right? And be like, let's fire it up.
That's
Yeah, you got to work
plan.
it. You got to get positive. It's positive energy.
That's a pretty good plan.
So Holden's sitting there thinking about what he's putting on his sign. So this is funny. We got to
Jackson
share this on the
bought 2
podcast.
signs, right?
So tomorrow night they play Kettle Moraine Luther, traditional However football team. We're going to crush them. Normally
They
we don't
even
talk
said
about-
that.
Normally we don't talk about high school sports, but this is fun. So Holden's idea for a sign, right? It's Kettle Moraine Luther. We're
We
a
want
public
Bama?
school. No, I think the funniest thing you said about a sign, Jesus can't help you now.
No.
That's so
Okay.
good.
No, did
That's
Jackson
so
tell you
good.
that?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
no,
so
no,
good.
no. Okay. It
I know,
was,
I said
it was
too far.
Okay.
But you can't do it, but that's good.
All right. We obviously weren't going to do it, but I thought, okay, we do chants. What if we chanted, God can't save you? Obviously, we can't do it.
You
Because
still can't do it.
We
It's
can't
funny.
do it.
You can't do it, though. Funny,
Because
you can't
it's
do it.
only because it's Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and they're like,
We get it. We got it. Yeah, we got it.
No, that's great.
that'd be pretty good though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Rich kids can't hit. Rich kids can't tackle. There you go.
There we go.
Rich kids can't tackle.
It's too many syllables, but God can't save you rolls off the tongue.
It's rich kids can't something.
Score. Or
Score.
Maybe-
It's weird.
you suck was easy.
Catch, run, things, footballish things.
Last week we did you
Sports.
suck.
Rich kids can't sports. Well, they kill us in basketball, so that's not. We beat them last year, whatever. All right. That was way off topic. Holy moly.
It was awesome.
That's podcast for you.
Real quick.
Yeah. You got it, Adam?
No, I'm good. I just changed real quick.
That did change real quick. So we are building, how much do you guys know about the new factory we're building?
A decent bit. I mean, I feel like it's been pretty good, like communication of what's going on with it, where it's at, what's like the plan for it, that kind of
In
stuff.
your words, like again, you're talking to Holden who has no clue. In your words, what are we building? What's going to happen in the next 12 months?
The future, I guess, is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, right. Well, you don't gotta look at them, but like, so what does that mean? Like, what are we doing?
So obviously keeping some of the stuff, but a lot of like automating a lot of stuff, but still kind of keeping everybody around. Like efficiency probably way up if I had to guess with these new tables and machines, and kind of just making everybody's lives easier. Kind of seems like.
Yeah. So let's even go further. Holden, are you listening? Are you like
Yes.
Googling about Kettle Moraine Lutheran or something?
I'm listening.
All right. $26 million investment is what it's going to cost.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
That's a chunk.
That's a chunk. Yeah, that's a better work, right?
State of the art investment.
Yeah, it really is. It is the robots are coming from Idaho. Okay,
Yeah.
only a few people in North America have these robots, and that is truly like like how you would walk into a Ford or a Chrysler plant, right, or Chevy plant, or a paper mill, right? Like it is truly robotic, right? If we don't do a lot of builder tours right now in Little Chute or Amherst, one of the reasons it's not that big a wow factor. right? I mean, they walk in and it's a dude with a hammer. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're all fully automated here. And like, I even hate the terms, why we call it off-site construction. I hate the terms automated, modularized, panelized. Like, none of that stuff works. Like, what's automated about this guy?
Right.
Right? Like, and there is some really cool stuff we have done, right? Like, we've taken MyTech, it goes right to the plant. I mean, our sawyers are amazing, the saws are amazing. 12 saws all at the same time, cut that perfectly. But at the end of the day, we're still putting that puzzle together by hand. Those, I mean, we are going to feed it into the line, and it is going to come out. That's it.
Wow.
And it's actually quality control to the point that it could call out every piece of lumber. You can get down to tolerances of 1/8 of an inch. So that's crazy. And efficiencies, we're going to double our production with the exact same number of people.
Well,
Yeah, double our production. Like, it's overnight. So that's going to be crazy, but we got to scale up. Talked to Kayla about it today, and Betsy, like, we got to get her, like, we can't find good truss designers. They're not available, Joel. It's kind of the answer. Like, we got to figure that out. We got to double our truss designers, like, right now. You guys aren't bored right now, right?
No.
Right, so we got to go. And the ground has been broken. So we're going from Little Chute to Wrightstown. All undercover, we had mentioned that, right? So moisture controlled, heat controlled, vibrant. Jason Blinker's been wonderful. He's working with our general contractor on that. The whole interior is going to be white, like we want it like medical white. I think it's a great work environment. We were very conscious of that when we did it. The machines, of course, the robots are going to be blue. I think Jason got the robots blue. He better have.
Right.
JB. So yeah, we're very, very conscious of that. We actually wanted to have the offices in the center of the building. Okay. So guys like Ryan had to walk through and see all of you every day and say hi. Very aware of all that kind of stuff. That wasn't, realistically, it has to come in from one side to the next. In fact, we are going to be receiving so much lumber in that facility, it'll have its own railroad spur, which is really cool. Nice. But we'll have people that only unload lumber. That's how much the beast is going to eat. So there'll be constantly cars backed up of unloading lumber. So it's going to be an absolute beast. Cannot wait. And we'll drive the cost down.
Where is
for
it?
our builders. Wrightstown, Wisconsin, right across from our Wrightstown yard, which is about 20 minutes south of Green Bay.
Okay.
These guys are a little closer to Green Bay. You're maybe
yeah, I live in De Pere.
10 minutes away from Green Bay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It's like an hour and a half away.
Little Chute is like half an hour from Green Bay.
20 minutes maybe.
And Wrightstown is how far from Green Bay?
10. It's like, I think it's like half the distance.
Yeah, it's like half the distance. So
Definitely.
It's awesome.
real close to Green Bay. It's right off the highway when you go to Lambeau. Hold on. See your horrible Jets.
Hey, we beat you when they played.
Yeah,
Practice basically.
In practice
Kurt
football?
Becker, whatever. You had your top guys, and we had Kurt Becker. So congratulations.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Third quarterback.
Exactly.
I didn't watch a game, so
That's where we're at,
it's
right.
practice.
So that's kind of fun.
That's actually amazing. Hearing that in my interview actually kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like that ding sound going off in the brain. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. They're willing to invest this into the company, which means they obviously see a future with everything. You don't go ahead and invest that kind of, capital to not continue to produce and do even more.
I think we're in a really cool sweet spot as Drexel. I think the big boys like USLBM, Wisconsin Building Supply, Builders Force Source, they're really our top competition, right? They're the horses in our industry.
Right.
They're by far the two biggest players. There's only 13 truss companies in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Most of them are either too small to ever invest $26 million. We have, what's the little guys by Truss Systems? Valley Trusses, right?
Yeah, okay.
So they don't have $26 million.
No.
Right? In fact, they're probably actually slamming us like, oh, don't buy from Drexel, they're so big. You got to pay for their overhead, right? We're just these little guys and we'll give you a really good price. I'm sure you're doing that. That's a good angle. I'd use the same angle. It's wrong, but it's a good angle. So that's Valley Truss, right? They don't have $26 million. The big guys have to produce profits quarterly, monthly. You've seen that. Like they're chasing the quarterly profits. So they're not going to invest $26 million. So we're kind of in that fun sweet spot. And then with offsite construction in Amherst, taking over, where we can build these houses in 3 or 4 days instead of 3 or 4 weeks. We just met with a really great builder up in Green Bay yesterday, and he's like, oh, that's the future, like you said, Dylan, that's the future. Like, let's be the future. And, we've talked about in other podcasts, that makes the competition irrelevant. And that is the goal of any business.
Right.
It's the competition is irrelevant. And for me, and yeah, you say, I think all of us get geeked up. I've been doing this lately. It's fun to think about. Like, when you have your grandkids on your knee, what are you going to say about your career? Right? Like, I don't know, I worked at a job.
Right.
Or you're going to be like, I had a piece of changing the world. They used to build houses different. We were part of building houses differently. That's what Grandpa did. No shit, Grandpa? No shit.
Nice.
Right? And again, you guys know it. I haven't seen you guys forever, right? And I don't know the last time I saw you guys. A couple times this year, maybe I was up there for 3 seconds. So you're like, well, Joel, you have a bigger part than me. No, I have the same little part you have. We all have this little pie, but yet we can still brag about it the same way, right?
Right.
Because ultimately, we all did it together. I can't do it without you guys. You can't do it without me. We're all in it together. So it's pretty cool. I'm super geeked. What do you guys think? Sorry, that was just a Joel ramble.
Excited.
I can't wait to see it. I used to have to go through our plant every single day at WBS to get outside, and then I punch out, leave, and I'm just watching the guys and seeing how you put plates on top, and you come over with your framing hammer and you kind of do your little edge up, kick a plate underneath. So I'm watching that, so I understand the gist of like how this goes together, and watching our men and women do the same thing when out of the break room, and then trying to understand how is this robot going to do that, and then seeing the video that it's doing it, and being like, that's pretty cool, because I mean that's where time loss happens. That's where people get hurt on the job. It's like I look at those plates. It's a bunch of razor blades essentially. I mean, it doesn't take much to get nicked, and even when you're designing a truss for a framer on the field, you're trying to do something at some point to be like, hey, I don't want him grabbing this paw full of a 10 by 12 old plate is going to dig through them. But seeing all that and seeing how it's going to work, and then hearing, they're going to be stepping it up double time. Well, we already run 3 shifts, which is pretty awesome. But then to think you're actually be running 6 shifts in that same 24-hour period is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Crank.
That's way cool. I mean, if you want to get excited about something.
Yeah, we think we'll have, it's around 1 out of every 10 homes that get built in Wisconsin will come through that plant.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I think I've heard that as far as, so for Drexel, the trusses, I think we only build like a small percentage of them, right?
Really the secret sauce to these robots is crazy. Why isn't everybody in the country doing this, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're one of the only ones in the country doing this. What usually happens, Dylan, which is a great question, right? So I own a truss plant, I'm Truss Systems, and I'm going to double my capacity. The problem is for a bank that's giving you the loan, or you as the investor or the owner or the president or whatever, where are the new sales going to come from? Right. And you're like, oh shit. Like, okay, we're going to double our capacity. How? What is your plan to go grab market share? And you're like, yeah, that's going to be tough. We're at an advantage. We'll still use our outside trust companies for overflow and for partnership and relationship. Again, there's only 13 trust companies. So they do a great job, and they're aware of that, but we'll use them less. So we actually have the business to bring to that plant. And then that integrated model, a real advantage to the customer really is, we're Drexel, we care about you all the way through, and you're not getting a double markup, right? We're building it factory direct. That's Costco hot dogs, I always say, right? Costco hot dogs are like $1.50. But they own their own, Quick Trip and Milk, right? Like, they have their own dairy. We have our own truss plant. We can bring this all the way through. And if you want specific way your truss is built, let us know. We will build that for you. Our machines are automated. They'll understand that and work with you. And our team cares more than anybody, so we'll make it right. That's the goal. But yeah, it's 30 acres. Think of how many trusses are sitting around now in spring when the road restrictions come on. Right. Think of it in 2 years, just 2 years from now. Yeah, we'll have trusses sitting in the whole county, right?
Totally.
That's gonna rock. It's gonna be rocking. We're at that time already.
45 minutes.
I gotta talk to these guys all day. It's like I just feel like we just touched it.
Flew by.
I know it, man. That's how pods go. They're so good. So awesome. Holden gave us a warning cry. So did I miss anything on that? Adam, you've been pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm kind of a quiet guy. I just I don't know.
That's all right. It's all good. That's okay. You're doing fine. All right, so comes to our final question that we always ask, right, Holden?
Billboard.
Billboard. The final question, the billboard question.
Yep.
Right, so we had a good talk about the high school football thing too, so.
Maybe. Okay.
Jesus saves but can't save you.
No, that's way too long. See, the
It
chance
is too long,
that God can't save you, and I'll talk to Mr. Johnson.
You're going to talk to Mr. Johnson. I don't know about God can't save you.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'll
You
get in
can
trouble.
do the rich kids thing, though. I don't
I
think
got in
that's
trouble
too
for
far.
saying.
That's just funny.
I got in trouble for a "you suck" chant.
Yeah, don't do you suck.
Well, it wasn't even my idea. I wasn't orchestrating it.
Yeah, but you're in charge of it all. You shut it down. You got to blow it up.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep. Anything you do run by Mr. Pittman, Coach Pitt, shout out. I'm sure he watches every week. But okay, so final question is you have this giant billboard, right, that millions of people are going to see yearly. You can put anything you want on it. What is it and why? Somebody dying to go first?
Is it this just like for Drexel or just?
I mean, it's your billboard. But if you want to pump Drexel, give her. No, it is your billboard. It doesn't have to do anything to do with Drexel. Rarely does, but sometimes it does. It kind of overlaps usually.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam,
I
go
would
first.
just like to, I'd put on there, if nothing ever changed, we wouldn't have butterflies. A lot of people are just not all about changing, and, change is good, so.
If nothing ever changed, we wouldn't have butterflies.
Right, because they start out as, a caterpillar,
Nice.
and then
Yeah.
they grow into something beautiful.
Oh, look at Adam. He's quiet the whole podcast and he just mic drops the billboard.
Totally.
That's pretty good. I have never heard that quote. Like that's I've read a lot of quotes. That's good.
Oh man.
If nothing other changes, we wouldn't have butterflies.
Well, I'm actually going to be becoming a driver for Drexel is the plan. And when I went to get my FedMed card, it was on. There was a picture of it in the chiropractic office, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool.
That just slapped
Yeah,
you.
it just like
So you're coming into the driving world?
that's the plan. Yeah.
Are you gonna do those cranes?
Probably not. Just deliver trusses.
Yeah, not just deliver trusses. That's a tough job. So our new, really cool, I don't know if you probably don't even know that, in Amherst, we actually are having a truck that we designed. We have 2 on order. Though 2 came in. People are being trained to use them. So the crane will actually be on the wall panel truck.
Nice.
So and then the new truck drivers will pull up with the wall panels, reconnect, take the empty one back, and that guy will keep going. Right now we hire a crane company. Driver kind of stands around, so we can do like 2 for 1.
Nice.
It's gonna be phenomenal. Very cool. Thank you, Adam. That was great.
Yeah.
All right, I guess you're next.
Oh man. I know. I've been dancing on this idea all day while working. Trying to be like, I got time. Billboard,
It's not a real billboard. Like, don't put
No,
too
no,
much
I-
pressure on yourself. It's
No,
gonna be okay.
I get that. I feel like, though, if you're given the opportunity to have a billboard, it should be something great. That was awesome, by the way, Adam. I guess mine will go with the current times, and I guess how I've always felt. Like, if you're not willing to fight for your freedom, what are you willing to fight for?
That's good, man.
Let's go with that. It's kind of the gist of everything we're trying to think of today. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. It's like, and how many people have given up their lives and sincerely fought, I always think of like the dudes in the Declaration of Independence.
Every day.
They like literally signed a document knowing like,
Their head
yeah,
was on a platter.
yeah. And then I go further than that. I'm a God guy, right? So I go back to Jesus and like the 12 apostles. Like literally, right? I always go back to like Jesus died, right? And believe it or not, but like go with it, right? Like it's factual to me. Jesus died. To me, it's a fact. He was raised from the dead. These dudes were scared. Like, okay, the guy that we thought was God, they hung and died, and my life doesn't exist, and I don't know what I was doing the last 10 years. I need to get a job, right? For sure, right? And then 3 days later, like, I'm back. And they're like, whoa! And then they went crazy in the Declaration of Independence. Like, if you read, like, the Acts of the Apostles, they went, like, fully YOLO. Mm-hmm. Like, you only live once. They're just like, I'm out here. I'm prophesizing.
Right.
Let's go. This really happened. And they actually did all suffer horrible deaths.
Yeah.
St. Peter was hung upside down on a cross and died. And we're like, as they're getting killed, they're like, yeah, cool, I'm going to heaven. Them guys are nuts, right? Like, straight nuts. In fact, I've read books where it's like, being a Jesus guy, like, well, maybe they were just in a cult or Jesus just tricked them or something. I'm like, they're all like, yeah, but in a cult at some point they're like, dude, I'm out. Like it's totally not worth this. Like them dudes were all in. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's great.
It popped into my head right away. Be kind. That's it.
Nice.
I love it. Black background, white font I'm looking at.
Sure, that would work.
Yeah, be kind's good. I don't, just, I mean, again, all you need is love, right? Jordan Love. That's pretty good. Good job. That's great.
I was kind of thinking a similar thing. Just be happy.
You can't just steal his. That's never been done on
just
a
be
podcast.
happy.
Go first.
Never been done.
Go ahead.
Just like be happy. Like I've only been on this earth 24.5 years, and I've gone through some trying times, I guess, and it's just you don't gotta impress everybody, you don't gotta prove anything. Just be happy, and that's one thing I like about Drexel. It's kind of like the work-life balance. You kind of just go to work, and then after that, it's your own thing. You focus on yourself and just
Supply happiness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Totally. I mean, I totally believe in that. When I die, I've told my wife, Holden, make sure this happens when I die.
Okay.
If you're still friends with our family. I'm sure you will be. It's like, I want the song Don't Worry, Be Happy, like played at my funeral.
That's
awesome.
Bob Marley.
Yeah. No, that's not Bob Marley. That is,
that
see,
one
that's why we
dude.
got to have the monitor.
He just passed away recently.
Who is it?
The Whistling Man from the 80s.
Bobby McFerrin? Look it up, Holden.
That might be it.
See, we have this thing like Rogan where you look it up and then we can watch the video together, but Holden's
Great too.
Yes,
it's not
Bobby
that. Bobby McFerrin.
Nice.
Don't worry,
Fast.
be happy.
That was really fast.
I typed in "Don't worry" and it popped up right away. You know why?
That's why he's the producer.
No. You know why?
He
it was
does
fast?
do something.
It's because it's listening to us.
He does do something.
It always is.
Yep.
It always
See,
is.
watch. I'm
You just said
gonna
there's
type
like
in.
great part. That
We're
was
talking about a
much
monkey.
better.
I like monkeys. I bet if I type in MO, monkey's gonna pop up. Okay, it didn't pop up that time.
You know the word.
All right, we're going to let the conspiracy theory die at this point. So, hey, thank you all for coming on. Appreciate you
Thank
guys
you.
all so
Thanks
much.
for having
It was
me.
awesome. Love all you guys.
It's been great.
Love to see you. Thanks for coming down. Appreciate all you guys.
Appreciate
All right,
you.
you got anything else?
Shout out to my girlfriend. She loves our supply happiness. She thinks it's one of the coolest things she's ever seen.
Do you want to say her name?
Her name is Kristen Hooker. She's
Kristen
also
Hooker.
She's an attorney.
Shout out. Don't creep on her.
Yeah, don't creep on her. It's mine.
We're not going to throw her up on the gram now.
No, but like she loves it. Like she notices my happiness. I mean, it's the difference in culture change.
Yeah, you can make. I mean, you make improvements in the smallest ways, and the ripple effect from your friends and family. Hopefully, then Kristen takes it somewhere else, and that's how we change the world, right?
That's how we do it.
All right, that's how we do it. Peace. We're out.